Welcome to On Power and Peoples with Renee Malay. The show is about depth of any conversation that will be held here, as real as it is, because we are about realness. From relationships, religion, marriage, faith, philosophy, economy, politics, you name it all, honey, any subject matter that concerns you. And of course, good vibes. We are here for it. Now stay tuned for the next coming episode. And thank you so much for tuning into my channel. It's your girl, Renee, and joining me today is my favorite human being, Eamon Mayego, my very best friend.
Thank you very much for having me. Drum roll.
We need a drum rolls, actually. We do need. We need the sound that plays like drum rolls, like.
Yeah, drum roll. But you don't go by the name Amen. I go by the name Superman.
Oh, well. So in the last episode, if you have not checked it, he was me, and the other one he's just
all
always
different.
But anyway, this is Amen, and this is how Amen is. I'm so excited of the topic that we're going to be talking about. Honestly, we are going to be talking about the second. This is a series that is going to continue, which is the Guard Your Thoughts series. So today we are going to be talking about the damage of pornography. So, yeah, man, let's get into it.
Damage of pornography.
Damage of pornography.
Before we delve into the subject matter, I'd like to define things. Definition of things make things easier.
Yeah.
You understand? So now, when I had damage and pornography, now I understand one thing that pornography is one, or not pornography though, but prostitution. It's one of the oldest profession on earth. Mm-hmm. Now, if you check the term prostitution and pornography, they have the very same root word. Mm-hmm. Do you get prostitution, pornography? Mm-hmm. So it's so pornography is prostitution on graphics. Mm-hmm. So it could either be pictures or videos. Mm-hmm. All right. So now, the damage of it to somebody's mental state has to do with the graphics and the videos of nakedness, because prostitution has to do with nakedness. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think in that context, we are able to, articulate the subject matter on damage of pornography on a person's state of mind. Clear?
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's very clear with you. What do you think are the damages of pornography? Yeah, I think I'll just go. Must I go in? Or okay, wait. Just go in.
As simple as possible. What is what damage does pornography has on a person's mind?
Yes.
What you're saying?
Yes, and in a society as well, not just.
Yeah. All right. First of all, let's understand that pornography has become multi-billion rand selling industry. First of all, you understand?
Do you know that even movies as well that has pornography in them, they sell a lot?
Like we said this other time, that are sex sales.
Dude.
So nakedness has been put on our disposal so that we can somehow fund, because that's what we're doing. When I say we, I mean the human race, or the societies we're living in. We are funding these companies to propagate their agenda. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now, with the mental state that we have as human beings, so it is important to realize that thinking is a process in which pictures and videos run through your inside. All right? So if you're going to have such videos or pictures running in your mind, it affects your inner being. All right? What do I mean? Thinking, right? I mean, there's types of thinking, right? For example, I can name few. Can I?
Yeah, you may.
All right. There's cognitive thinking. There's intuitive thinking. There's convergent thinking. There's divergent thinking. And there's also metabolic thinking. All right. So the type of thinking that a person normally processes gets affected by how well they project their thoughts Do you understand what I'm saying? So now, if I were to be a person, or if there is a person that likes to be inclined to pornographic content, so that person populates their thinking caps with nakedness. Do you get what I'm saying? So in that case, so what they constantly see, it's the nakedness. So they have more desire to fund the nakedness industry or the fraternity of pornography as large. So in that case, that person's cognitive thinking, because cognitive thinking it's a process in which your thinking receives the impulses from the environment. So if the environment is of nakedness, and then your cognitive thinking receives it, your intuition or your intuitive thinking gets to digest that very well, because intuitive thinking has to do with how well you understand your thinking. So now when you understand your thinking in that manner that you need to be seeing or constantly seeing nakedness, it becomes a platform whereby your whole system takes it, and that's how it desires to have it. For example, when you meditate, right? Meditation is a process in which you are focused on one dimension of whatever that you're thinking of. Let's say meditation in this case is convergent thinking. That's when you are focused on one dimension of thinking. So how you meditate affects how you're going to behave. So the manner in which one meditates should be considered very well, because the very same, when we talk about neurology, the brain as a whole has so much divisions, right? The front loop and the back loop, cerebellum and cerebrum, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Now, where stress, or should I say meditation, uses the front loop, right? So the more you meditate on those graphic images, you are doing the damage to your front loop, because that's what it wants to get acquainted to. So meditation, the process of the hormone that's used for meditation is the same one used in stressing.
Okay. I get what you're saying, right? And it makes, I think with you, it's you explaining it on how it damages a person's mental health.
The thinking dimensions.
Yeah.
Because now, if you understand that you have 5 dimensions, and your thinking is likely to be attracted by nakedness, which is pornography, then what are the chances that you're gonna behave according to the pornographic fraternity as a whole? You will do what you see. Do you get what I'm saying? So what is it that you see when you look at pornography? What is it that they see? It's nakedness. But more than nakedness, it's images, it's videos that the actors are depicting. Now, if you constantly think about it, that's what you would want to do. And now that leads to masturbation and economic damage. And so that look...
No,
so
I'm
intense.
listening to you, actually. I'm just listening to you.
So there's so many levels of damage that pornography does. But in this case, it starts with masturbation, right? Then it goes to the economic factor. Then it goes to relationship factors. Do you get what I'm saying? But all in all, how you think is the factor that gives allowance to the pornographic industry.
I hear you. Wow. No, it's actually an insightful explanation that I feel
I just came in hard, didn't I? Sorry.
No, this is how you are. I'm used to you. I get what you're saying, honestly. It's one of the things that when I was making my whole research with pornography and the damage that it does, I think with me, I was looking at the result of it, you know what I mean? And you went so deep with the brain part of it, you know, on what it processes and then what comes out of what you feed, you know what I mean? So I think it's one of the things that really shook me when I was making this research, that I get to find out that of how much money the sites make. And one of the most scariest thing is the fact that there's 50% of people who are in pornography videos that are forced to be in them. There's human trafficking that is happening, and that people get to sell sex like that. And then you see young kids, and the scariest part of this is this, that I used to watch porn, right? So I'd watch those videos that would have people talk like this, you know, there's this website that you go into, and then you like father having sex with the child,
like
and
the
titles where you're like
sexual,
brothers and sisters having sex, and that to how people see it, you know, to how it stimulates the mind, and the results part of it, of if I'm going to watch a video of a
Siblings.
brother and a sister having sex, what does it say about me?
Yes,
What am I
for
feeding
sure.
my brain? What am I feeding my spirit? What is it that I'm taking in? And what kind of a person do I want to become when I continue to watch myself, to feed myself off of these things? You know, so it ends up, it has totally, on my side, it has totally destroyed me, and I will get into deep into that on my next content. But it has really damaged me and my thinking, because it kind of controls you. So it's like you serve into it. It's like a master. You're a servant
addicted.
to it. You become so addicted that you don't even see yourself doing it. And then after, you start wanting to act like the person on the pornography. You want to start like a porn star. You know what I mean? And then after wanting to act like a porn star, you want to act on it, trying to satisfy your partner. So here's the thing. You want to compete with what you see. You want to remain in a relationship that is toxic, and you're thinking that if I do this kind of styles and this kind of moves, then this is the partner that I'm going to date. So mentally, like you said, that it really does have so much damage. And with what I've also realized as well, is you think that you can catch someone by having to act on how the person is on like how a porn star is. So like I said, that you start to try to want to compete with a person, with a porn star.
Yeah, the porn stars are professionals, by the way.
Yes.
And they went through a lot of training.
But that's the scariest part.
I'd like to believe that they go through training.
That's
and
the scariest part, because on what I was reading, right, it said that there's most people who are part of it, they use drugs. So it's like you are doing something that you don't love, and because you're doing something that you don't love, you are and you are forced into there's things that remember that besides the nice part of having to watch pornography so that it can stimulate your mind, and then you feel like this and feel like that. There's so much dangers in violently on how they attack women violently. So there's literally so many women who are forced to do certain things that they don't want to do it. But because they've signed the contract that this is the kind of work that I want to do, they continue to do it. There's so many dangers on how it promotes sexual violence as well.
So what you're saying is that some of these porn stars have not really get to understand the disclaimer or the contractual means of how they're gonna conduct the whole act.
Some of them.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, they tend to be abused by let's say the crew.
Yeah, and look at it this way as well, right? Once they, if by the crew, let's say if they get to be told to do things that they don't feel comfortable with, you know what I mean? You would see. I don't know if you have watched, but you would see even in the act that this is something that is being forced into. You know what I mean?
it's one of the things as well that when it comes to a mind, when it comes into a person's mind, that they feel that this is how a woman must be treated. Because in most pornography videos, porn videos, you get to see on how they use women. And I've heard so many women when I was trying to make an investigation of this, trying to make research of this, I've heard so many women who would say that they've heard sex in a very abusive way. So it's like you're like an object. So you're in a relationship with this person that you're trying to please, and you love the person. They don't probably see you the way that you are, or they don't value you, know. So then now you try to act like a porn star, and once you submit yourself to being an object to them, they literally they push you with the wind, with the thingy, they spank you, they slap you, they do all of those kind of things. So now your body's it's like something of like a punching bag where somebody releases their negative energy on, where somebody releases their anger on. It's like, and that's how sex in pornography is being used, and now it's being acted on even when it comes to relationships. So it's like they take the most vulnerable girls. If I know that I have a person that I'm very
So this is
committed
more
with,
of like the sex trafficking.
yeah, but now
Okay.
you're in a relationship.
Okay.
So now this is what's happening in the relationship, or what you see. So if you watch a pornography and you see, oh, this guy is doing this, and oh, this is how a woman is treated like. So
Okay.
pornography is very, it develops sex.
Okay. Yes.
It develops sex in such a way that sex has now become such a very violent act. It's like
Violent.
when you do it, you must be very violent. You must like push, and then that's when you're going to be like, oh well, yeah, I'm giving my partner, I'm satisfied.
However,
You
yeah.
know what? I'm.
So is that because of the type of because I believe there's types of pornography.
Yeah, there is.
So that could be one of
But
the.
look at the stats and look at on what sells the most. Because even now, when you're in a relationship, when you say no, a person wants to do all of that. You know, they want to force themselves. They want to. You know, there's also rape as well, and rape is not only for people that we see on the streets, but even our partners. There's people who have partners
So
that
there's
rape
types
them.
of rape. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's also on what they've looked at. Because if we were to look at that kind of a pornography that entails more of emotions and all of that, then you wouldn't want to force yourself on that person. You'd want to reach the standard of you both agreeing and feeling that together. So we have more people who watch that kind of porn, and it really destroys and damages our mindsets, our thinking, and our sexual life as well. Because you're trying to compete with people that you don't even know. You are breaking your legs. You're doing all of those kind of things to
Yeah.
kind of satisfy the person,
Yeah.
so that you can fit into the porn star type of vibe.
Oh,
So yeah.
you are so much deep about porn.
No, like if there's one thing
No,
about
but
me,
I
I'm
can-
very
you know-
like I don't like hiding or I put things on the table. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but
It's part of
you
my
know,
past.
you just had you just laid it in a way that I never. Well, I don't. To be honest, I'm not a pornographic fan. I don't watch porn.
Oh
The
no,
last
I
time-
don't either anymore.
The last time I
stopped.
watched porn was in high school. You know, in high school,
wow.
when new gadgets were introduced, somebody with a smartphone, or with much more nicer one, they would download such videos, and that's how they would circulate within our peers. Do you
Dude,
understand?
I used
But,
to.
okay.
No, when you say this, I used to think that everybody watches porn.
No. Because you must understand the implication it does. So with me, when I saw that, my thinking was somehow disturbed on why would I want to see the nakedness. Because at the time, when you see the pictures, you don't just see nakedness, but you see an adult. Do you understand? So growing up, being raised by both parents, I had the sensation that an adult needs to be respected in this way. So seeing an adult naked to me was a bit frightening.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And that will stick, or that will, resonate.
Do you
with,
know that there's porn for kids right now?
Ah.
No, like there's like teen who are doing pornography.
Oh, okay. In that
Yeah.
case.
No, I'm not saying you must go watch it. I'm just saying that.
No, I was thinking when you said this.
No. There's no.
Porn
it's
for
not.
kids.
No, it's like for teens. For teens.
Or like,
there's like the little brother and the
categorically
sister type
so-
of thing.
Can I leave your
Yeah, like-
your studio?
No, listen. We're here to lay it on the table. So
Okay,
we are
yeah.
getting in deeper conversations as always. So if I were to remind you, not even to remind you, to when I think of the first time that I've watched porn, I was so young. I think I was in high school. I was in grade 10. And that's like a friend of mine showed me, look at this. And I'm like, what is this? And there's videos of naked people, you know, and you just become so interested because at that time you're in a relationship. So what happened was that I wanted to try that. I wanted to do that. So when I got to grade 11, I just felt like in the middle, like around May, June, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm ready to start doing this.
What
You know what I mean?
porn?
Yeah, like I felt like I was ready to start having
To
sex
act.
because
To
of,
act according to
yeah,
what you
and
have
it was
seen, yes.
influenced by porn.
Yeah.
So my point is, there's so many people who, and at that time I was like, I want to be. I did not know God by that time. I didn't have a relationship with God by that time. But I had so much porn in my phone. Like it was a lot. It was. I'd watch porn like every single day.
So,
like, listen,
Mhm.
you know, and it became to, like, later on in life it started to destroy me because it was not it okay with that, and then I had to break my virginity because of
The excessiveness
of watch.
porn.
And even in that process it was a matter of I wanted to do what is being done.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Alright,
I wanted to. They say if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna. And you know when you're a kid and you have sex talk like, do this, it's not gonna leave you. Do that, it's not gonna
Yeah.
leave you. And you try to do all of those things, and you try to sacrifice yourself, to submit yourself, to give yourself away so freely and so cheaply because you want to keep the standard of this kind of. And having to realize that I wasn't even the only person. There was so many people, and there's even today. There's so many married people, and there's so many people who
engage in porn.
and
Yeah.
who feel that men are not going to leave them if they perform into the standards of a porn star. And there's men who also feel like, you know what, if I'm doing like this, she's not going to leave. So that influence as well, it corrupts our mindset. And
Yeah.
you start being like it's
become
so
vulnerable.
toxic. You become so vulnerable. So that's when I had to, and by that time I really wanted to remain until I was 21 years old. It was like I'm gonna break my vision when I'm 21 years old.
That
But
was your
however,
goal.
because of that was my goal.
But pornography cut your goals short.
Influenced my decision
I'm
you know what I
sorry.
mean. So it's no, man, there's nothing to feel bad about.
Yeah, but-
So it's and come to think of it, when you start to realize, because now you don't have any education about sex and you don't understand what you're doing. It was not even nice. I'm like, what the hell am I doing in this? Because I am really not enjoying anything. Like, what am I doing in this? You know? So it's one of those things where you get to realize that if it wasn't like that, if I did not watch this,
You had so many ifs.
Yeah. you do actually.
Okay.
You do, you really do, because what it does, it also tells your mind that you are ready. That's the most dangerous thing about
Wait,
porn.
what you're saying is that the more you watched porn,
The more you feel ready.
the more it prepared you to act in that way, and that's when you thought you were ready to act how they act.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
This is a testimony.
Wow.
For-
There's
for-
a lot of testimony.
Can I
we
say
have been
that
having in this
I've never been in the studio, and I never felt like leaving the studio because of how emotional and how real or genuine you are about this.
No, man,
I mean,
I feel
this
like
is-
it's very important because I see so many people.
This is
There's
raw. I mean,
millions of
this
people.
is raw.
There's thousands of people who are into this. And
Can we tell the viewers that this is not scripted? This is actually
no,
raw.
this is not scripted.
This is raw.
This is me. There's a lot of things that people are really going to hear from me. And that,
Yeah, and we-
because here's the thing, right? When you start being a celibate, and when you're a celibate and you've been a celibate for like a while, people start thinking that you don't know anything. People don't know anything about you, and they start thinking, well, oh, you've been hurt. And then, no, I have not been hurt. I've made a decision out of a conscious mind because I was very much aware of what sex before marriage was doing to me, and what pornography was doing to me, and what masturbation was doing to me. So for me to leave all those kind of things, it's what I've experienced, and it's what I've connected the dots. That for me to make this decision is because of that.
That really,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that really
it's also with the addiction as well. You limit in addiction. It steals your time.
Okay.
You know, when you're addicted to something, it convinces you that you still have enough time to do what you want to do.
Okay.
So if I want to start writing, you're gonna feel like, oh, but I have enough time to write.
And then
Let me just serve into this. So you become you become a slave to pornography because it steals your time. If you should be studying, you feel like, oh, I'll study later, or let me do this. Let me watch pornography and do this. You know what I mean? So it steals time, and that's just not what people are really not aware of. The addiction, in all the addiction, you know, it can be drugs. Every kind of addiction, it steals your time. It steals your
so
time
much time
to do.
consumption on
Exactly. There's so much time consumption. There's so many things that you should be doing, but you just feel like, if I can just do this and please myself, just 2 hours, 1 hour, and that 1 hour is like 2 hours. 2 hours, you're just like, okay, cool.
Conversation when Hugh Hefner died. He's the founder, president of Playboy, right? Playboy magazine. So basically, Playboy is mini pornography, but on a successive delivery, right? Now, when he died, we were like, yo, the player has met his maker, all right? And then he was like, I used to watch, to read a lot of his magazines because my father, he said it, my friend said, my father used to bring a lot of Hugh Hefner's magazines. So he would read them, right? At an early age, around 13, 14.
Oh my God.
Do you understand? And there were a couple of pictures thereof. So he said to me, I have this problem. We happened to, was open to me to, to just let loose about his condition. And he's like, I have a problem. I have an addiction. My addiction is pornography. So that's how he told me how his condition started, by reading Hugh Hefner's magazine. And he started checking the pictures. So it was the magazine was not really enough until he went to the internet. So on the internet he had different blogs. He was telling me the type of blogs that he went on, and and he would have so much videos downloaded. So with that, I'm quite aware that a lot of people have a pornographic addiction. So now that's a psychological effect, because once you start focusing on it, that's how it affects how you think. Because one picture, as you look at one picture video, that's convergent thinking. So from that picture, you are never satisfied.
Yeah,
what happened is you want another one. So it affects your other thinking, which is divergent thinking. So you divergently think about how to get other videos.
I actually don't know if it was just me, but when I used to watch the porn, right? There were moments I felt like I needed, and that time I remember there was this other time, and I was just starting to be a celibate, and I remember God saying that you can't be a celibate and serve into this as well. But I was like, but no, how do you think that I'm going to survive? I mean, like, I'm not having sex with anybody, I might as well just do it. And he was like, you are being a slave to this, you know what I mean? So I think you are never satisfied, and it tells you, it's so dangerous, man. Like, I'm thinking that if somebody were to be young and they started watching this at an early age, like 11 years old, 12 years old, because we did, even in primary school, there were people who would watch would watch porn and they'd come to school and be like, have you watched this? It plays on ETV after 12. There used to be a show called Emmanuel. I never got to watch it because at home we would sleep earlier, so it would, and I'm like, what's going on in that, like pornography. So you can imagine to a 12 to an 11-year-old child.
Please, can I excuse you? Was Emmanuel more explicit, like hardcore, or
I don't know.
I've
never watched it.
Okay,
I've never watched it. I've never watched it. I was young.
On a serious note,
no,
I haven't, because of
no, dude,
I'll
you were
sleep
smart.
early.
With Emmanuel. I thought you were talking about porn. No, like with porn. I thought you were actually talking about porn. Yeah, I will also sleep early at home.
I'll sleep early,
never allow us
and
to.
I had a mother who always prayed, so I wouldn't interfere with the time.
12 o'clock is prayer time. Oh wow,
and
that was such a good.
Do you understand how some people's lifestyle have affected my lifestyle? That at the end of the day, I'm grateful of not being part of the masses.
Dude,
you
know what? When you say this, it really does amaze me to think that. I used to think that most men watch pornography. Most people watch pornography. I used to think that it's a couple thing. And one of the scariest thing I remember, because you're now in a relationship, I remember when I was dating my partner and would watch it together. But now when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, did I really allow...
You were together?
And it's so frustrating. Like, it's not frustrating, but you're just like, what was I doing? Like, why wasn't I this smart? But I think overall, it's just that the fact that your partner has to see someone or some woman being treated this way, and I think also with how they perceive women. Now you become perverted, like you become a pervert. So now when you see a woman, you start undressing them. That's what pornography does. So now when you start seeing a woman, you start undressing them. When you start seeing this type of body, you start undressing them, you start thinking of what you can do with them. So now a woman is no longer a woman to you as an object.
Wait. That's a man doing that. So how did it affect a lady?
It does.
Is it also the same effect?
You also
like
look
you
at a
undress
man.
them?
You also look at a man, you're just like, oh, honey.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's so toxic, man. It's like I don't wish it on anybody. I don't even know why people watch it, but it is what it is. So it's one of those things where you just see somebody and then you start undressing them, and you start wondering how it will be with you and them together. So now you fantasize about the sex life with this person. So it damages your brain. You can imagine of how many things that you should have done and how many productive things that you should have done instead of taking your time undressing a man, having sex with them mentally.
And
they're not even part of it.
How did this affect you economically? I mean, lately with our phones, right? The companies that are giving us, the service providers have more and more and more money than we can ever imagine.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
of the service that we use. Giving you a call, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Data, it's expensive. Now, how did that affect you economically? I mean, using data is expensive. By then, let's say you never had a smartphone, but how did that affect you economically?
No, man, I've never... When it comes to money, nothing will affect me. I'm very smart. No, so like, I don't play with my money.
You never... Let's say you had...
No, like data.
Okay, back then would use airtime.
No, I've never used.
You've never loaded so much airtime.
I was shared Bluetooth.
Oh, okay.
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And then you have them, and then yeah. So I mean, let's just make this story. I think it's also important that parents get to watch and to monitor their kids' phones, and have more conversations with them in terms of pornography, because it's like we did say earlier that it's so violent, like it's addictive. It ruins families as well, that now your husband starts seeing this and then he wants you to do this, and then if you're not doing this, he go outside to get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of makes your mindset to be on another level of expectation. So you now start wanting or expecting certain things that you see on TV to be done. And remember that these people aren't always sober. These people are on drugs. So now you are forced to compare with someone, to compete with somebody who was on high drugs. intoxicated in a way that they can't even see themselves on what
Is that
they're
always
doing.
the case?
It is. Most
Okay.
of the time,
Because now what we see-
99% of the time, it is. There is no sober person who's always sober who would want their own bodies to be in all of the world. Think about this.
Okay, if you say so,
Think
because
about
now
this.
what we see, remember, this is media or social media. Now, watch this. Social media, right? Or media. So media is the medium, a platform into your soul. So that's why.
Oh wow.
Do you get what I'm saying? This is how I see it. Social media. So media is the medium, which is the channel into your soul. So now your soul wants to depict what it sees by means of interrelation with how you think. Do you understand? So if the porn industry claims to, if they were to claim not to make money, your soul will also incline to what they're saying, because they feed you, because you are part of the department. But if you are outside, that's when you'll be able to recognize that these companies makes a lot of money. But the ones which are addicted, they
There's
can't
also
really...
a site that they wanted to ban simply because of how they use videos for human trafficking. You know, the thing about pornography is this, that you can download it's like a YouTube channel. Are you aware of that? So it's like you
No,
can
I've
do your own
never
videos
gone-
with your partner
You,
and then download
you have gone
them.
to the extremes.
No, not me. I've never did the video. I've never did
I
the
mean,
video.
the
I'm just saying-
extremes in terms of getting to know how...
Oh yeah,
pornography-
yeah. I have. I've really done my research when it comes to that. So it's one of those things, man.
Was it
where
because
you-
it has affected you?
it's one of the signs that I really got into. I think when I realized that I needed to breathe from those, that's when I knew that there was a problem with me.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
okay.
So, and then as soon as I knew that there was a problem, I started wanting to act on it. And then I started wanting to see the effects of it, the dangers of it, how you become, what it does, you know what I mean? And then overall, that's when I really was so interested in really having this kind of topic in future,
Okay,
which
yeah.
I am right now. So it's so
And
it's
I make
so
it easier for you
bad.
to express this.
Yeah, you are.
However,
Yo, as I'm saying that, I'm so shocked that you've never watched porn. I really am so shocked.
no,
'Cause
not to say
to me,
I'm
no, like you've never been like that deep into it.
yeah, no, never there.
Man.
It has always been about the videos that we watch
I used
at
to think,
school,
guys, I was corrupted. Like
Alright.
my mind was so corrupted.
and I just had the inclination not to see an hour naked. That was
Yeah.
my challenge.
Oh,
And now,
see, what I don't do is there's a type of porn that I used to not watch, right? So I never wanted to watch a porn of like older people. So I felt like, nah, I'm not
you
gonna
had
do
some
that.
moral
I
moral
did.
restriction.
Yeah,
to
I'm
say,
like,
I can't.
nah, I'm not gonna
So the
watch
very
this
same-
type of thing.
The tiniest
Because I felt
moral
like
you had.
I was watching some of my aunt, my mom, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I never wanted to get that deep into it. So I just saw girls like me and who were skinny. I wanted a representation of me, but in a white color. I never wanted to see a black person doing it.
Okay.
I've never watched I've never watched black people having sex.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's just those things that I had criteria, because when I watched a black person doing this, it felt like I was watching myself. You know, so I never wanted to watch anything that is going to remind me of myself when I was in that moment. You know, and I think overall also pornography disservices God. Like it really, like it dirtifies sex. It becomes so dirty that you just feel like, I don't want to be.
Can
part
I
of
say this? Pornography is another division of prostitution. Remember, prostitution, it's the state whereby it started with ladies. Do you understand? So when prostitution started, right, a lady who was beautiful thought to be economically effective on how to make more money with her body. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now that's why the nakedness is the forefront of pornography. So now, when a person indulges in pornography, right, they are becoming prostitute. So you give and they give you back. So in this case, what is it that you give? You give, let's say, your attention. And what is it they give you? They give you the very same the images or the videos. Others give money, and as they give money, they get the satisfaction of the videos. Do you understand? So now, I also saw this program about a gentleman who was married, who never really got to support the family because of porn addiction. So he would download more and more and more of pornographic videos,
man, that's
to an extent whereby the wife started complaining to him, and it went further. The wife went to the office, talked to the boss, and the boss had to dismiss the guy.
Yeah, do you know how
to
bad?
get help, psychological help.
Oh, at least that's better.
Yeah, that they had to take it.
Do
to
you
that
also
extent.
think that it contributes to, as we said, that for me, I feel like it also does contribute to sexual enforcement, like rape, that somehow a person feels entitled to a woman's body, that they feel like, if I can just do this to you and do that to you. I do feel like it has contributed to that. However, she said something that I wanted to add on to it with.
I said the husband.
Oh, yes. You know, one of the scariest thing is the fact that I never had a problem with watching a porn with my partner, my ex-partner. And now that I'm thinking of it, now that I've grown and I'm thinking of it, is that imagine if your partner were to watch another woman naked, how will that make you feel? And now it's making you feel so good, so okay with it because it's on pornography. You know what I mean? So I think as well with that, it kind of makes you feel like, God, it's okay to do it. It's okay to watch it, you know. But overall, it's never okay to, and even the Bible tells us to not do not lust on anybody, right? So it's one of those things where you feel that it's not the physical person that I can see, then it's okay. But what you see is what you see. It doesn't matter on where you see it. The fact that you see it, it makes it
Whether
totally
you imagine it
wrong.
or you
It
visualize it.
Exactly. It's something that you see. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Let's close it. I hope you guys have learned so much from the damage of pornography.
You went on and on, and next thing you just put.
It's just like bang.
You just put a wall there, and they're like, yo.
No, this is going to continue. We are going to shoot our next episode.
Please, because you've got so much to say.
You want to learn about porn? No, we're actually going to have a masturbation. Our next content is going to be about masturbation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be more or less the same like that. So yeah, well, thank you so much for tuning into our channel. Please kindly do like, subscribe. Do you have anything else that you would like to see? Hey, listen, here's the thing, right? I'm not perfect. As much as I'm smart right now and I know better, and I'm very overprotective of myself and my mindset, I have experience. You know, I've been there. I've been addicted to pornography. You know what I mean? I've been a servant to pornography, and I've gotten to a point where I felt like this is enough. This can't control me anymore. Yeah. This will never have any power over me. Yeah. I plead the blood of Jesus. This ain't gonna control me. I'm a child of God.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, and I really stopped comparing myself with other women. I really stopped undressing women and dressing.
Yeah.
It like I said, there's so many people watch porn and they become perverts. You know, they see you and they want to snap you. They see you and then they want to touch your body. That's the impact of how much it has contributed negatively in our society. So, well, yeah, man, what can you add on?
I'm just grateful of your testimony because really like I said, this was not prepared. And when you were just speaking your thoughts on this, I really had to be reserved and let you take the platform. Because at the end of the day, we really need the balance in conversation. So I'm grateful, and thank you very much for the session. And I hope the viewers will also have an introspection about the addiction that they have.
And please, if you have liked the video, please do kindly subscribe to our videos. Subscribe, like, comment if you have anything else. Wow.